No, 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 not now. Baby, please. Not now. Wait. Just a little longer. Please, wait. This is the voice of a woman named Anaya. She is lying on the cold, wet floor of a metal shipping container at the bottom of the ocean. She is completely alone in the dark. And her baby is coming. She is begging for it to stop. But life has its own schedule. This is a story of a mother's love, a father's sacrifice, and a fight for survival against impossible odds. Listen and learn English through their journey. Let us go back to understand how Anaya found herself in this terrifying situation. Anaya and her husband, James, dreamed of a better life. They were promised jobs in a new country. But it was a lie. The men who offered them a future instead sold them. They were separated. James was put on one ship. Anaya, who was pregnant, was forced onto another ship called the Mariah. They were slaves. Anaya was locked in a dark container. She was not with James. She was completely alone. The only thing she had was a secret mobile phone. Sometimes, when the guards were not near, she would whisper to James. His voice was her only comfort. Then, a terrible storm hit. The ship shook violently. Anaya's container broke loose. It was thrown from the ship into the raging sea. It sank quickly into the deep, dark water. When Anaya woke up, she was in silence. A heavy, terrifying silence. Water was already filling the space. It was cold. So cold. She was alone. Her first thought was James. With shaking, wet hands, she found her phone. A miracle, it still worked. She called him. He answered, his voice frantic with fear. Anaya. Talk to me. Where are you? I don't know. I'm in the dark. There's water everywhere. She told him about the storm, about the container sinking. James was on a different ship, far away. He promised her he would find a way to save her. He would make the ship turn around. He would find her. But as they spoke, the container shifted. The phone slipped from Anaya's hand and smashed onto the metal floor. The screen cracked into a million pieces. Now, she could only see a little light. She could not see James's name or face. She could only hear his voice. James, I can't see. My phone is broken. It's okay, my love, he said, his voice steady and calm, though his heart was breaking. Just keep talking to me. I am here. I will always be here. Days passed. The water in the container rose to her knees, then her waist. She was thirsty and hungry. And then, the pain started. A deep, tightening pain in her stomach. No. She whispered. No, no, not now. Baby, please. Not now. Wait. Just a little longer. Please, wait. But the baby would not wait. There, in the cold, dark, rising water, Anaya gave birth to her daughter. Alone. She used her own clothes to clean the baby. She held the tiny, crying child to her chest. Now, she had to survive for two. The water was still rising. She had no food. No water. Her body was weak. She had no choice. To stop her thirst, she drank her own breast milk. To stop her hunger, her body told her to eat the placenta. It was not food. It was survival. It was life for her little girl. She knew the container was sinking deeper. She had to get out. She felt her way through the dark water, searching for anything to help. Her hands touched a heavy, metal object in the corner. It was a drill. An old, battery-powered drill left behind by the men who locked her in. It was her only chance. Every day, she drilled into the roof of the container. The sound was loud. The battery was weak. She could only drill for a short time each day. One hole. Then another. Her arms ached. Her body was tired. But she thought of her baby. She thought of James. She continued. The water was at her chest now. She held her daughter high above the water. Finally, after many days, a small piece of the roof fell away. Grey light and fresh air came into the container. She had done it. At that moment, the phone buzzed. James was calling. She answered, her voice weak. James. I did it. I'm at the top. His voice was different. It was faint. It was full of a deep, final sadness. Anaya, my love, I tried. I fought the guards to come for you. But they shot me. I am dying. No. The word was a whisper. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to you, he said, his voice growing weaker. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there for our baby's birth. Anaya's breath caught in her chest. This was her moment. The news she had been carrying. James, she's here, Anaya whispered, her voice suddenly strong with a mother's pride. Your daughter is here. I had to be strong, so I named her Hope. There was a moment of stunned silence on the other end of the phone. Then, a sound. A soft, choked sob of pure joy. Hope. James repeated, tasting the name. That's a good name. A perfect name. His voice was filled with awe. Can I talk to her? Just for a moment. With tears streaming down her face, Anaya held the cracked phone to her baby's ear. Hope, she whispered to her daughter. This is your daddy. He loves you so much. The baby, soothed by her mother's voice, made a soft, cooing sound. A gentle, happy gurgle that traveled through the broken phone. James let out a breath, a sound of perfect, heartbreaking love. Hello, my little Hope, he whispered, his voice fading into a fragile thread. Be a good girl, for your mother. I love you. I love you both. The line went silent. Anaya held the dead phone to her ear. James, she whispered. Then louder, James. Only silence answered. A sound tore from her throat, a raw, guttural cry of absolute loss that echoed in the metal tomb. She cried until her body had no tears left, holding her baby girl tightly, their tears mixing together in the cold salt air. She held her daughter tightly as the long, cold night passed. The next morning, the sound of a boat engine grew louder. Voices shouted. A light shone through the hole in the roof. She was rescued by fishermen, her baby safe in her arms. She stepped into the sunlight, a woman reborn from the darkness. She had lost the love of her life, but she had found a new purpose. James was gone, but his love was not. It was the fire that had kept her warm in the freezing water. It was the strength that had moved her tired arms. It was the voice that had guided her through the dark, and now, that love had a name. It was Hope. If this story moved you, and you want to continue improving your English through powerful, emotional stories like this one, then do one simple thing for me, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our next story. Your support helps us create more content to help you on your English learning journey. Thank you for listening. Stay strong, and keep learning.